first thing I'm going to do is ensure that I am streaming and connected. Because I've done this before, and I've actually started streaming, and I did like an entire stream, and it didn't even connect to YouTube because the code was wrong. So I'm just going to make sure that I am streaming. And in fact, I am indeed live and on air. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Washington is here with your latest update on the tropics. Right now, we'll be talking about the remnant of Blas weakening and Celia getting stronger. And the National Hurricane Center is now expecting it to become a Category 1 hurricane. So, this is what we got out here. You can't see very, very disorganized thunderstorms. Got a little bit more convection off to the west. Deep in thunderstorm activity. Maybe it's trying to get itself organized back together. Looks like it's starting to move away and move more west, away from Mexico, which is good because they were starting to get a lot of heavy rain. Guatemala, El Salvador, southern portions of Mexico were really starting to get a lot of that heavier rain, and it was causing some big-time problems over there. But right now, it does appear that the storm is moving away. Again, this is Celia. As you can see, it is moving away from the coast of Guatemala and Mexico. But it's going to start making a turn to the north, as you can see here. It means there's a range of high pressure over the south, which means it's going to try to wrap around that. But then because of high pressure up here, it's going to try to wrap around here, but then be pushed out this way. And so it's going to try to generally go in this general direction. Storms usually go in the area of least resistance. And this is the area of least resistance in terms of where we have the high pressure trying to push it. And then you also have the Coriolis effect trying to get it to go northward. But right now, this is going to move northwestward, and then we're going to see it intensify into possibly a hurricane. Now, regardless of intensity, there won't be any direct impacts. Okay? There are some islands out here. I'm going to do some research to see if they're even populated. I assume they are. Pretty much every island on Earth is populated by somebody. But right now, the biggest threats are going to be heavy rain along the portions of Mexico, the western coast of Mexico from Celia. And then obviously you're going to have rip currents. There's going to be swells all along this coastline. Those swells will get a little bit more intense the farther north Mexico you go, because the storm is going to be a little bit stronger, and it's going to cause some of those swells to be a little bit stronger and bigger. And those rip currents are going to be stronger, and those waves are going to be bigger. So that's what we got for Celia. I do want to take a look at the modeling. Again, they are saying it's going to re-intensify to a storm, possibly a hurricane. Two of the models are saying a major hurricane. I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't see it. But you never know. The tropics always surprises us with something. These are the remnants of Tropical Depression Blas, as you can see. It's so far west, I don't even know if there's even any sunlight there yet. And getting there. So you can see, stop it right here. You notice how there's convection on the northern side of it? That tells me there's shear cutting across from the south going north. That means that high pressure is rotating clockwise. So all the way over in America, it's going to be going this direction, and then it's going to be kind of moving up north. And then these upper level winds are going to be just gently pushing this north like that. And so I do think there's a little bit of shear pushing the convection away from the center of circulation, meaning all that convection is up here. Although it still has an LLC, a low level circulation, that is closed and organized enough so they can still call it a depression, not just nothing. So it has still got some small tropical characteristics with it. If we want to take a look at this is a little bit better. You can clearly see this. A lot of convection north of the center of circulation. Small island here. Again, not a whole lot to worry about, given that they're not really going to be seeing any big impacts from this. Maybe some rain, if that, since they're on the southern side, they might not even see any rain at all. So again, this is Celia. I do want to make that very, very clear that we are still watching Celia and its impacts there. You can actually see the center of circulation right there. Right there. That is the center of circulation of Celia. I'm going to do some research to figure out what happened to it. Why the center circulation is just sitting out there exposed. My best guess is there's a little bit of shear going on out there. I'm actually going to look at the discussion and explain what the discussion is talking about today with the tropical depression Cecilia, and talk about it reorganizing here in the future. But that is Cecilia. Clearly you can see a closed LLC right there, very, very clear. I'm going to go to WSV3 and take a look at the satellite on here. A little bit bigger, a little bit probably better and high resolution satellite. So remember, the biggest threats from Cecilia right now are going to be flooding, rip currents, and rough seas. So if you live along the coast of Guatemala or western coasts of Mexico, do not go to the beach. Those rip currents are very, very dangerous, and they unfortunately will pull you into the ocean. When you put it like that, it sounds pretty scary. So again, this is the depression Cecilia. It actually did become a 2? No, it didn't. It made 90 miles an hour. That's right. And so again, this is depression Cecilia. Winds are at about 30 miles per hour. I am gonna go and take a look at the high resolution satellite here. I don't know if it's mesoscale 1 or mesoscale 2. Mesoscale 1, it appears to be. So there's the center circulation right there. If we go and take a look at want to take a look. This is some high resolution satellite here, but I want to put this into motion, and then you control F, and then you control T. So you can see the center circulation right here. I think the LLC might actually be like right here, based on what I'm seeing on the cloud spin. But that's where the center circulation is. It seems to be here a little farther west. And it's going to continue to move in this general direction. There's a lot more convection out here, which tells me the shear out there might be a little bit weaker, and it may try to organize itself the farther west it goes. And I don't know. I have to look at the cloud pattern. I think the shear is going from southwest to northwest, southeast to northwest. Southwest is down here, southeast to northwest. I think that is the direction that the clouds are moving in terms of shear. I have to look again and do a little bit more better idea of the cloud structure, because I actually don't know what the cloud structure is looking like. Alright, so I actually want to do just the past 2 hours. So as you can see, if we go here, we zoom in, very high resolution satellite, deep thunderstorm activity off the west, up to the northwest, also lots of deep thunderstorm activity. Notice how little thunderstorm activity is near the center. That is why it's so weak. There's no thunderstorms happening right now at the center circulation, so it's not able to intensify. If anything, it's probably weakening right now, as those winds have gone down from 40, 35, 30, down to 30 miles an hour. But the farther west it goes, it's going to try to reorganize itself. And I think by maybe even tonight into tomorrow, it might start organizing itself better and start looking a lot better. But right now, it is a heavily sheared tropical depression, and it looks horrible on satellite. That's a little swirl right there, as you can see right there. Not very well developed at all. But that is what we're watching right now. Watching where it goes. Going to be moving to the west. It's going to be intensifying as it moves to the west. And I think as it does that, it's going to start looking a lot more better and a lot more organized. It's actually expected to reach hurricane status. All right, if we actually look, double star, There it is, Category 1. With 75 mile per hour winds. 78. So we could even see this reaching 80 mile an hour hurricane. And it just really depends on the conditions. This is definitely expected to reach tropical storm force as the wind shear is expected to start weakening down. I'll turn this off and just have these on. I mean, you think about it, they're actually really far from each other. One's just a couple hundred, like 300-400 miles away from Cabo San Lucas. And the other one is like 1,500 miles, 2,000 miles away. You think about it, it's pretty far away. So, let's do this. I'm going to take a look at modeling and take a look at what we're going to be seeing here with the winds of the system, just so we have an idea how strong is it going to be. I'll give us an idea of rep current wise, how big the waves could be. Flooding could be worse with the stronger winds because stronger winds, more convection. They're usually a little bit larger in size, depending on how compact they are. If they're very, very spread out, like Sandy was, it was really an extratropical cyclone when Sandy made landfall, but it's over hurricane force winds. It depends on if is it big, is it small, depending on how compact it is, how far it is away from land, depending on how far those rain bands are going to make it towards Mexico. But nevertheless, we zoom in here. This is where that system is at, and we're going to go in 5 days. That's all I want to do, 5 days, 120 hours out. And I also want to talk about what we could be seeing in the main development region. The main development region has the possibility. I went way too far out. Hold up. Loop 120. Loop. So, as this storm moves westward, in this general direction, it's going to be moving in an area of more favorable conditions. Warm water, low shear, the concentrated amount of the moisture levels per square centimeter is going to be higher. The conditions are going to be more favorable. The atmospheric conditions are going to favor this, and it's going to allow the storm to intensify. Right now, there's too much shear, as we just showed y'all on the satellite. But as this moves westward, it's going to encounter an area of more favorable conditions, and we're going to start to see more thunderstorm activity happening near the center of circulation. The more thunderstorm activity we get near the center of circulation, the more powerful these storms are usually going to get. But as you can see right here, you can really see this moving this direction. You almost see an eye wall a little bit trying to develop right there with the hurricane. Very, very small, compact storm, it appears. Usually systems are generally compact. So it's going to take a while. Eventually, this storm has got to get its act together, and we could see this developing into a hurricane. I certainly think that's a big possibility. If anyone has any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to go in the chat and just ask about any questions that y'all have. I'm just going to check on the stream. There's no questions. Alright. So we got that going on here. We're going to continue to watch this move northwest. Heavy rain, flooding, and we'll see how big this gets. Flooding, heavy rain, stuff like that's going to be really bad. The rip currents are also going to be very, very bad in this area from this system. I want to go over. I actually want to go to tropical temperatures right quick. I don't even have the internet pulled up. So there's Blas, 30 knots. Celia, last I saw, it was at 30 miles an hour. And again, they are expecting this to become a hurricane. Yeah, I do want to go also to the National Hurricane Center, NHC. I'm really curious what the discussion is on this. Because I haven't really seen anything. Small bursts. Yeah, easterly shear continues to prevent significant organization. So it's coming from the east to the west. I'll have to look at the satellite again. I need to look at a zoomed out version. Just so I get a better idea of what I'm looking at, so I can get this accurately. I wouldn't say that's near the center circulation hurricane center. Oh, I see it. It's right here. I see the shear right here. Oh my god, I thought it was going this direction. I see the shear right now. Okay, I feel so dumb. Well, easterly shear. Looks like it's moving this. Yeah, you can really see when you zoom out, you can see the shear plain as day. It's there. It's quite evidently obvious. I mean, you can see these clouds being sheer. Like, look at that. You can really see these clouds just being ripped apart up there. We get a little bit of convection coming up, and the clouds instantly get sheared away. What would be so cool if there was like a boat down there, and there was like, you did a time lapse as the clouds went through convection. You get them sheared away. I've seen that before, a sheer tropical storm. It's so fascinating seeing shear happen from the ground. It's really, really cool stuff. But clearly, yeah, you can easily see that shear. It's coming this direction. Yeah, but yeah, you can clearly see that shear there for sure. Very, very plain. Very, very obvious. Very, very evident that shear is definitely happening there. Okay. The current intensity remains about 30 knots or 30 miles an hour in accordance with its warning estimate from the SAB. Fortunately, a recent speedometer pass, which could have given additional information on the strength of the system, missed the circulation of the cyclone. Global models indicate that the persistent easterly shear over the Celia associated with the upper level anticyclone of the eastern mountains, which is high pressure. So if we look at flat convection over the Caribbean, that's pretty incredible. So upper level anticyclone, so you want to look at here. I want to see. Yeah, so first, I just want y'all to notice, y'all can see this ridge. That's evidently obvious. It's an upper level ridge. It's a ridge of the upper levels of the atmosphere, which causes compressional heating, which is basically the heat is being compressed and it's heating up. As a compressional heating, it's complicated stuff. You get a parcel of air. I think it heats up adiabatically, which means you don't add heat energy to it directly. The only way it can get hotter is if it happens really quickly, and that is how adiabatic processes work. I think it has to happen really quickly for it to heat up, and the way it does that is through compression, and that is what is compressional heating, and that's what we're seeing across the entire southern United States. I believe that is the correct meteorological terminology for this heat wave happening over the southern United States is compressional heating caused by adiabatic processes. I think. I don't know. So I want to see. I want to say southwestern Mexico, right? It's falling apart. It's going to reorganize here in the next couple days or so. Well, there's upper level low. Alright, lower dynamics. I'm going to go back to the lower dynamics and look at the 850 millibar vorticity and wind. It is at 850 millibar level at the low levels of the atmosphere. I'm going to go to the Western Atlantic. No, the East Pac. And just take a look and see what we're looking at here. Wow, that's a big storm. And then another one behind it too. Look at that. Look how compact and tiny that is. It looks like it broke off from Cecilia. Really, really intensifies and becomes a little powerhouse there. Really fascinating stuff. So y'all have probably heard in social media. I guess this is it the CMC? Yeah, I believe it is the CMC. Is this? Oh, look at that. Little robust tropical wave coming off Africa there here in the next. Well, it already came off Africa. Never mind. I'm going to look at swear it was a CMC. God damn, which model was it? Was it the Euro? People were saying, oh, it's a CMC, it's the Euro. I'm like, I ain't seeing that. Right now, they're not showing it anymore, but they had been showing something developing in the Caribbean. However, I do want to look at it, just to take a look at the GFS again. Really not a lot of activity is expected to even develop. I mean, You go to the Gulf of Mexico, right here. Something extremely tiny. I mean, look how tiny and robust that is. It is small. Very small, very, very robust. It literally develops on landfall. This is kind of the, this is really caused by the CAG, which is the Central American Gyre, a broad area of low pressure and thunderstorms and showers. There's a lot of convection. I could actually put this in motion. You can just see this region of just activity. These go this way, then it goes this way. See that? How there's this, how it goes this way, and then you get this. There's a little bit of rotating energy in this part of Central America, and that's kind of what we're watching. So right now I'm actually going to take a look at Blas, and that wind shear is just pretty incredibly strong. Okay. Show on stream. Okay, I gotta show this. I do want to show this also. This is for, let me just, East Pacific 03, so this has got to be for Cecilia. So this is what we're looking at for Cecilia. As you can see, the shear is going to drop off significantly. By the 23rd, in 3 days, it will be below 10 knots. And it seems to continue to drop off. As you can see, the sea surface temperatures are going to remain around the same, 28.5 degrees centigrade. It's very, very warm water, sea surface temperatures. The mid-level humidity it's going to stay pretty much the same until we get later on where there's a little bit less dry air. And then even then, it's still above 65%, which is still generally really good humidity. The intensity is going to just blow up here in the next, in around 3 days, it's going to ramp up. And that's where they're seeing, 40 knots, 50 knots, 60 knots. Even get up there near 75 knots. So this is expected to become a Category 1 hurricane. We're going to closely monitor to see how powerful that comes. Again, the GFS, the GFS is saying 80 miles an hour. That's actually what the National Hurricane Center is also going with the global forecasting system. Is with about 80 miles an hour. Again, 30 mile an hour winds, about 25 knots. A fairly weak system. They're not showing a lot for the main development region. Hold up. Looks like. Let me see what the blues are. But generally, there's a lot of high pressure across the entire. Generally, and that seems to be dominated by much lower regions of pressure. Look at this Azores high right here. Alright, you get anything coming off, this ain't just going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go this way, y'all. This is going to be pushed down. Maybe something like this. But then I think, look, that looks almost like an Irma because it would come down here and then try to move up like this. Depending on how powerful it is, usually the more powerful hurricanes are, the more resistance they can have against these systems. So if it's a Category 5, it may completely miss the Caribbean islands and just go up the East Coast. That's a possibility. Right now, that's not. It's freaking June, bruh. June 20th. So, one thing I do want to talk about, I do want to pull this up. That's a tiny thing. One thing I do want to talk about, I'm going to go to my Twitter and talk about something that we've actually launched. And I think it's important to talk about this. So let's get talking about it. I might have to just sign in. So if you ever want to really support our channel, this is really the best time if you've ever wanted to support the Hurricane Watch Team. We have now opened our very first Patreon account, and this is we're gonna just I'm just gonna kind of go through everything and talk about what it starts out as, and I'm gonna kind of explain to you the benefits. Let's go away. So if you wanted, really the starting amount we're starting off right now at the beginning level is $1 a month, and that's as a Silver Storm Watcher. Now, here you get special roles in the Community Hub Discord server, and you'll get your Discord names featured on the headlines bar in our streams. Plus, you'll also be able to unlock Patreon exclusive posts and messages, and this is just at $1 a month. Very, very cheap. $12 a year. $12 a year. could not get better. We'll be doing we'll do special videos for just Patreon. We'll have posts. We'll have, we'll have videos. We may even do some releasing of post-analysis, tropical cyclone analysis reports. So that's something we've thought about for Patreon and doing that. There's a lot of cool stuff that the team and I are thinking about. I wish I could. So as a gold storm watcher, you get everything that a silver storm watch gets. A silver storm watcher gets. Plus, you get all this stuff. You get voting power on the content we produce, and get exclusive live streams and videos. We can actually do live streams on Patreon now. Still gonna figure that out because I do everything through OBS, and that's a lot of stuff I'm gonna have to do. But I'll do it. All right, if we get a lot of people going in and they're interested. Plus, you'll also get early access to our content. And again, visit www.patreon.com/Hurricane Watch Team. You can see the link right here. See the link right here if you want, if you're interested. And finally, as a diamond, by the way, the gold storm watcher is just $5 a month, pretty cheap. And then the diamond storm watcher is at $15 a month. You get everything silver and gold gets, plus diamond, which is you get the full library of our Patreon posts, and you can get animations, for the hypothetical hurricane, typhoon, and cyclone seasons or storms. And so we're really coming up with a lot of ideas. So if you're interested, feel free to come and join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Hurricane Watch Team if you're interested. If you are interested, yeah, that is something we are working on, and I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited to see how that goes. All right. So that's what we got there. Again, feel free to join if you wish. It would mean a lot to me, and it would mean a lot to the team. So, with the remnants of this system, this is literally the past 2 hours. Control F. So you can see deep thunderstorm activity. Look at the shear up here, blowing this direction and this direction. Less shear over here. Just notice they come up and they stay. They're not instantly sheared away. So that means the shear over in this part is weaker. So as this system moves westward, there's going to be less shear, and it's going to look more developed as it progresses westward. This is our tropical depression Celia that we are talking about. If anybody has any comments, questions, or concerns. Alright, I'm probably going to end this off here pretty soon. I wanted to make this sweet and quick. Later today, we will be doing a update. I didn't mean to make this such a long stream. We will be doing an update on Patreon later today. But with all that being said, I need to wrap stuff up. I need to get some stuff done today. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free again. Links in the description to www.patreon.com/HurricaneWatchTeam.com if you want to join. And we will talk to you later today.